Hello, everybody, and welcome to the entertainment headquarters and another special werewolf night. Full moon is blazing, as Anubis has said. Full moon mayhem is rising, and so here we are with the next Fear the Wolf month of the werewolf special. And this one is a one I've pretty much been looking forward to doing. It's probably my favourite of the bunch, potentially. And to talk about the films that are a part of this special, as you can see in front of you, I have some amazing guests, also amazing friends. First and foremost, my co-host with the most, Mr. DJ Anubis.
What's up, everybody?
And also, he's from the Metal Tavern Radio. Before Neko shouts out.
I just exist. She's the boss. I just exist.
And then we have my good friend Jedi Grandville.
What's up? How y'all feeling tonight?
And Mr. Big Bad Wolf is here with us. And finally, Anthony Jordan of Anthony Jordan's Movies and Gaming. So this month, Fear the Wolf, Month of Werewolves, has been quite a good month. We've done a lot of amazing topics and discussions on some cult classic werewolf movies. So the final discussion, of course, is going to be a mixed bag for the majority of us here. But before we get cracking, let's see who's watching today. As mentioned, we have the lovely DJ Neko. Ahoo!
She'd be a perfect werewolf, I gotta say.
Yeah.
I think she's howling at Anubis.
Yes.
Damn right.
Anyway, finally, Mr. Jake.
Jake could be. Are you posting from your phone? Yeah, so he's probably on a computer, so that's probably why. Or through a different link. It could be through if someone else is streaming this live. It will show up in their chat, not in the one that Kevin has.
Yeah. Well, Jedi's sharing the chat on his channel, so it's all good. Everyone who joins us, it's all great for them to join us and to join in on the phone and the discussions. So, like I've said, the next 4 films are going to be a mixed bag. So, we're going to start off with this lovely film. Werewolves. The Page, but with the fucking werewolves, basically. And that is probably the best compliment I can probably give this film from my.
That's the only compliment you can give it, because I want to break that down. I want to shred it. I do. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, before you shred it, let us talk a little bit about it. So Werewolves is a 2024 American action horror film directed and produced by Stephen C. Miller. It stars Frank Grillo, Katrina Law, I can't even pronounce that person's name, James Michael Cummings, and Lou Diamond Phillips.
Yes.
The story takes place on the night of a supermoon event that causes humans to turn into werewolves, which first occurred the previous year, and following the attempts to control the situation. The film was released theatrically in the United States on December 6th, 2024, to mixed reviews. So, let's start off. When's the first time you've seen werewolves? We'll start off with my friend Jedi Granville.
Well, I recently watched this last night, and as I said before, I want to this movie as hard as I can because I'm thinking this is an interesting premise. And here's the sad part about this. Y'all probably gonna look at me crazy, but I found this film boring. I found this film extremely boring. And you think, like, how is this boring? It's got werewolves, but you mentioned before, it's the same damn premise as The Purge, a better fucking film. I did not care for this movie. This movie drugged on, and then the people in here are so fucking stupid. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, dude. I pushed on.
Well, as you know,
Roger's getting so angry that his internet can't hold up.
yes, that is true. As you can see, it stars Frank Grillo. I mean, oh shit, wrong person.
I was going to say,
Yeah, that's. I mean, he does have a good workout routine in this.
Frank Grillo.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it basically.
That for you, was that for you, Kevin? I mean, just for your enjoyment?
Well, let's face it. It would have, even if the film was garbage, it probably would have worked out better with Hugh Jackman in it. It might have had a few more eyes on it. But we'll save that. Next person, Big Bad Wolf, the first time you've seen this film.
The first time I saw this film, it would have been during the Christmas season of 2024.
Mind, I will see whether it was going to be a success or not. I think they missed the mark when they released this film. I think they should have released it at Halloween because I think if you're doing a werewolf film, unless it was a werewolf film that had like a Christmas theme to it, sometimes I feel they're missing the mark when they release some films. It's like imagine if they released Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis in August or January. It wouldn't make sense. The certain films are typecast or made for certain periods of the year. And I feel as if this should have been made and released. And I think it might have had a better outcome if it was released at Halloween. It might have captured that season's audience.
Yeah, I will say my first impression of the film was the premise was good, but there were just certain points in the film where they kind of die off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whatever they had planned, it was a great idea. There was just a few poor decisions on the delivery.
Yeah. So, Anthony Jordan.
This was the only one of the four I was not able to see, so I'm just going to listen into you guys on this one.
Well, obviously, we're giving it an amazing recommendation.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to get the Blu-ray tomorrow morning.
Yeah, you definitely have to get it.
At least
finally,
Blu-ray.
Finally, Mr. DJ Anubis, first time seeing this film.
I watched it for the first time a couple of days ago. And definitely got the same vibe that you did. It's basically like The Purge, only with werewolves. And, I'm going to have some good things to say about it and some things that obviously are problematic with it. But I know we're going to talk a little bit about the story some more and all that. But yeah, first time I saw it was a couple of days ago.
The funny thing is, you guys mentioned Purge with werewolves. The funny thing is, the articles that came out for this film before the trailer release, when the first news popped up that there was going to be a werewolf film with Frank Grillo, each article literally described it as The Purge with werewolves.
Well, the funny thing is that, Frank Grillo is not a bad actor. In fact, there's good actors. You have Lou Diamond Phillips, Katrina Law, but it's almost like they're trying to force Frank to be like an action hero, which he has like the build and stuff to be someone like that. But I just don't know if he's really kind of like the big enough name to sit there and say, yeah, we're gonna put this guy's face all over the place and make him this new star, like the Jason Statham. All of a sudden, it's like I don't know if he really has that ability to kind of pull that off.
Maybe it would have been better if the woman pictured, I forget her name, if she was the main character, as the story would have been set around her trying to protect her only daughter, who's
Yeah.
who was the last thing she has to her husband that died, and I'm guessing he got killed in the line of duty because I think Frank served with. Because it seems like both him and Frank were both in the military. Frank's character were both in the military because in the movie he's like Frank's big brother, and I think it would have been a more interesting story if it was more centered around her and her daughter.
Honestly,
know that-
after the Purge 2, I'm kind of still amazed he didn't get cast as the Punisher.
He did an all right
I
job
always-
with the character he played in the Marvel movies. I forgot what character he was playing in that.
Crossbone.
Crossbones.
Yeah, I thought after that he might have potentially his career would have risen a bit, and it kind of has because he's now getting like, he is kind of the face of the page now.
Yeah.
Because I think was he in 2 or 3 of their movies, and then he's had this. I think the
Yeah.
downfall of this film, it's too similar to the page, so it
Yeah.
feels like he's typecast in following this pattern.
Yeah, it
Where-
seemed like. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to wear as if they had tried, and I think for me personally, it's not a bad film, but they could have done a lot better with it.
Yeah, I'd say they could have pulled some influences from the Purge without making it too on the nose with the Purge.
Yes, I think that was.
Since I think I get the idea is I think they probably casted him first, and that when they cast him upon writing the film, they probably went, you know what, he was in the Purge films, let's make a film like that because people will recognize that and make connections. When instead they could be like, hey, let's pull some influences from the series he's best known for, but also pull influences from other really good werewolf films and maybe from a couple other horror flicks, and let's try to make something unique and good. But instead they went, okay, let's just go with the Purge, but eliminate all the people and just make them werewolves.
So obviously the film starts out with Wesley Marshall. He's a former US Marine turned molecular biologist, and obviously the year prior was the first kind of supermoon, and the supermoon had this effect on certain human beings where it would transform them into werewolves, which is quite interesting because it makes you think, is there something that's happened many years ago, like centuries ago, with men and wolves, that it's put something in their DNA to make this happen?
And the moon itself the supermoon is kind of mutated those cells.
It makes you think, was there a werewolf sort of outbreak or something in the past that led to this? But it's never really explained other than the supermoon does something to human DNA and turns them into werewolves. So he obviously has to go to the lab. He's in the secure location. His daughter is kept, I think, with his ex-wife or partner.
It's his brother's widow.
It's his brother, so it's his niece, is kept in her house, and he basically has fortified the house to protect them. And he goes there, and obviously you meet Damon Lou Phillips's character, who's like there as well. And there's these people in random cages all around that are, kind of a bit loopy. They're like crazy. They're like ex-convicts or whatever. They're like off the map. And as they, preparing to like watch the moon rise and to maybe use this chemical or whatever to see if it has an effect on
sunscreen or moon screen that they use.
Yeah. The moon screen to see if it has an effect on them. You've also got the wacky neighbor who's like a patriot and all this crap, who lives next door to the sister-in-law, and he's a bit of a weirdo. This dude.
He's like, he's off the chain.
He wants to hunt and kill werewolves. He's getting like a rush out of it, and then of course all hell breaks loose. Basically, the moon rises. They use the moon's spray on the people in the cage. They think it's initially worked, and they're kind of like they move back security in a bit of a way, thinking, right, we can relax a bit. But then all of a sudden you start to see the people in the cages kind of conjoined and the facial expressions change to the point where they eventually start to transform into the werewolves and all hell breaks loose. And as soon as that happens, they break out the cages, the compound suddenly invaded. Damon Lou Phillips' character is then bitten. He suddenly starts to conjoin and basically turn into a werewolf himself. And before you know it, the whole experiment has failed.
The other thing that's interesting about this is that, and I don't know if anyone else got the same feeling, is that on some level, between the scientists and just normal people, they like worried about this happening with the supermoon. But then there's like people that looked forward to it. So a couple of people in the cages were like actually like just excited to change. Like it was really kind of crazy.
Yeah, he was like,
yeah, it's like they were looking forward to it. Like they were really
it's like they're getting a buzz out of it. It's like a drug.
he's
But
a
it makes me think, because it makes me think though, the previous year was the first supermoon. So some of the people in the cages, they've already had the experience.
Yep.
Yeah, so, from what I remember, 2 of them were spooked and were like, no, I don't want to change. I don't want to change. Please let me out of here. Which I think those 2 had to been people that had to transform, or they never had. They're trying to test out the moon screen by doing it to people who haven't been turned yet to see if it can help, while also using it on someone who has turned to see if maybe that can prevent them from turning.
And if I'm getting this right, there was never an explanation for what happened, was there?
No,
not at all.
That's what, there's no mystery. There's no historical facts laid up with it. There's no know how mix it in with Romanian or tribal cultures. There's nothing of that. It's literally an event that's happened with the moon that's turned these people into werewolves.
Yeah, it just says it at the very beginning of the film, and that's it. You never hear any more about it.
Off the top of my head, here's something I can think of that could maybe add another layer to it. What if there was a virus developed and only a certain percentage of the population is susceptible to it, and this virus was just added to, I don't know, the water supply, and then just that the people are infected by drinking the water, and it's the supermoon that triggers something in the virus and turns them into the werewolves.
That would have been a good catalyst for this film. I mean, give some kind of backstory at least to say that could lead to what is happening to these. Because that, to be honest with you, that's what I was thinking on the first hand, that's what was going on with some kind of, virus, airborne virus, or something in the water, as you mentioned, Anthony, that caused.
Or if they got bit by some feral animal. Then instead of getting rabies, it turned into lycanthropy.
So this is one of the people in the cages suddenly conjuring and transforming into the hyena. I mean the werewolf.
Look at that. Why does the werewolf look like a clown? Like you expect the puffy red hair and a big red nose.
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the things.
I think that's mid-transformation right there. The transformation wasn't.
No, it's not. Show the cover again of this film.
Well, this is what I was going to get to. So before the film was even released, we had this. This is what we were promised.
That is a badass fucking wolf. Now,
right.
Now,
what we got was Smiley. And so,
what we got was Razor. What we got was
Anthony. No, Anthony. That's what. Yeah, Anthony.
What we got was Razor from TMNT 2.
No, Anthony.
The thing is, though, the rest of the suit looks great. The claws, the fur. And I'm like, how do you fuck up the face?
Yeah.
Come on, it's like you half-assed it.
That is the friendliest looking not just the friendliest, that is the happiest looking werewolf I have ever seen.
But you know what kind of pissed me off the most? because I thought this was a cool thing they did. And it kind of reminds me, because I know Kevin is a big fan of the Planet of the Apes franchises.
Mhm.
The one dude, the neighbor with the fucking war paint, was actually on the werewolf. I thought that was fucking cool. But because
Yes.
the head looked so fucking stupid, yeah, like it's just if they would have taken more time to make the wolf look more menacing, that would have been cool. And then that war paint would have been fucking fabulous. I would have enjoyed the fuck
Yep.
out of that.
Not just that, but give some of like the more prominent characters that turn into werewolves. Make each one of them just a little physically distinct.
Yeah, they tried that a little bit because some of them had like, I think it goes back to what Wolf just said about like the game, like Razor and all stuff. Like, because one dude had like a leather jacket on as a wolf. I'm like, come on, no, don't go that literal, please. They had earrings, they had all these other things going on. I'm like, no, you fuck.
Even if it's just something like whatever the person that turns into the werewolf, whatever their natural hair color is, that's what color the fur is.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was, yeah.
Yeah,
That's actually something I actually have thought out for my werewolf design with the fur that's on him. Like it changes color depending on the hair color.
Yeah. I mean, the drapes got to match the carpeting some kind of way, you know. So that's yeah.
But like you see, as the plot progresses, you've got these two that are trying to escape the lab to get home to his sister-in-law and the little girl.
Quick question.
And then
Andy.
at the same
Quick question,
time,
is there a plot to this?
well, it basically starts off as a werewolf movie and then becomes like a rescue movie. I'm gonna just tell me positives. Me positives. I do appreciate they tried suitmation, and you know they tried to do something different within the werewolf genre. It's definitely influenced, like you say, by The Purge. I think the cast all did a decent job. The only cast member that pissed me off was the annoying neighbour. I think personally though, I wish they did this more like a Die Hard film, like Die Hard 1. So what I mean by that is there's this moon thing going on. Very nice if the lab was inside a giant skyscraper. And suddenly when people turn into werewolves, you've got these soldiers and scientists and general normal people confined claustrophobic in this tower block with werewolves running around it. Instead of terrorists, you've got werewolves. And I think they could have made that really creepy, really scary, and kind of toned it down a bit and really give it like the scare factor. Because when I first seen the trailer and I seen them in the lab and the people turning, I thought that's what it was going to be. It was going to be set in this one location, a laboratory with werewolves running around. But then it changed to now the werewolves are broke loose. You've obviously got people out in the wild, out living in the neighborhoods that can turn into werewolves anyway. So you'll have millions of werewolves anyway out on the streets, which you don't see, but you know what's out there. And for me, the idea of being confined in this space, for me, in a laboratory with werewolves or a tower block, for me, is a more interesting story. But it didn't go that route. It went down the route of him and his colleague going over to his sister-in-law's house to save her and basically his niece, while they're now trying to defend themselves by the crazy fucking neighbor who's now converted into a werewolf.
Well, you see, you just gave a way better concept than I would ever thought of, you know. But I guess in the end, just trying to rescue the sister-in-law and his niece was a better motif, just like to get back to them, and that would make it, you know, because like I say, the movie's only like little over 30 minutes. I mean, 30 minutes. It should have been 30 minutes. It's over 90 minutes long. So I guess that's the whole premise. Like try to get back to the loved ones and make sure that they're okay. Because if they had done something like that, what you just said about the concept of that, it would have been a lot more money. But I think it would have been a badass premise at the same time. But you know, we'll never know.
Never know. John, your thoughts on the plot as a whole and your whole idea of this particular film?
So my thoughts on the entire plot would be, like I said before, it was good on paper, just poorly executed. I think one thing that could have changed, like I kind of see what they try to do. They try to make it more like World War Z, except it was World War Werewolves, and because you can't appreciate that scene where Frank Grillo is over there firing at him from the gunner on the tank against the werewolves. But I feel like the story could have been a more interesting take if they revolved it around his sister-in-law and his niece, and the sister-in-law doing everything she can desperately to protect her house and her child from the werewolves, whereas Frank's character could be like a side character. Like his thing could be trying to get home ASAP, but because it would add more dread and desperation to the story, because it's a mother trying to protect her child by any means necessary, while the outside world is trying to break in.
I do like at the end where he himself, spoilers for anyone that's not seen it, but Frank Grillo's character then does become a werewolf himself to take on the neighbor who's become a werewolf to save his family. And then obviously the cure, or it's just before sunrise, and they managed to escape just before, and he does convert back to a human by the film's end. So I like that, and I even love the bit how he killed the neighbor by ripping his fucking head off. I thought that was brilliant. So, do you want to do?
It gave us what we wanted, and it was a werewolf on werewolf fight.
It sounds like there's the skeleton of a good movie in here.
It is.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, right? So one of the things that leaves me a little bit confused with the film is that in some case, well, I can't say totally, because Grillo, when he does become the werewolf, he does fight the other one, which kind of gives you this alpha thing, but he eventually tries to attack the other girl. But at the same time, they try to give you this idea that there's like this sense of intelligence behind them, which isn't unknown to werewolves. But the fact that this neighbor is able to like figure out, I'm going to knock down this pole and it's going to break the electric fence, and then I'm going to get in. But they're not smart enough to know who exactly they're attacking at all times. So it's not consistent with how smart they actually are, because I would think on some level, if you're smart enough to do that, then you're smart enough to know exactly who you're attacking and when. But that's just me.
Yeah, I agree with
Well, yeah, that was one thing that was brilliant, was when the werewolf picked up the corpse of that teenage neighbor that he just killed and just put her against the electric fence, knowing it would override the electric fence.
Right.
I think if the plot was where he knew who he was attacking, it would make the neighbor look like more sinister. So then when Frank Grillo attacks and kills him at the end, you'd feel more satisfied with it.
Right.
Where it's like if you go back to say Silver Bullet, you've got the priest who's, to the community, he's Mr. Good guy. But then he knows what he's doing. And when you find out he's the werewolf halfway through the movie, and then he first kind of comes across when he has that nightmare and he's being attacked by, the people turning into werewolves, you feel, it's like they kind of put you off the beaten track that he's the werewolf. And then that he's cursed in some way and he's, fighting this curse. But then when you see him unravel at the end and he's actually trying to kill the kid who's disabled, and then he's killing people left, right, and centre, and you see his true colours, you're glad when he meets his end. Where in this, it kind of, the brother had an opportunity. Frank Grillo's character, in the end, he does save his sister, but if that's the excuse that the neighbour doesn't actually really know what he's doing, but then they're showing signs of intelligence, it's kind of off-putting.
You know what they could have been interesting too, if the werewolf's level of aggression is dependent on the person's personality.
True.
Well, another thing too is I didn't like that all the werewolves just all banded together just automatically, like there was a pack mentality right then and there. I felt like with most of them, especially with that one neighbor's demeanor, he should have been attacking the other werewolves instead of working with him so cooperatively. Like you would think that neighbor, as soon as he became one, would have been attacking the other werewolves. Like it's like a sense of this is my territory, get the heck away from me. Because that's one thing I did like is just seeing how easily they were just willing to work with one another.
Seemed like they should have been mindless beasts in a way to that.
Not exactly mindless beasts, like still intelligent, but also intelligent enough to be like, hey, this is my home, get away.
Yeah.
Like I don't want you here.
Yeah, well, they should have either made the mindless beasts where they just totally forget who they are and lose control and just go crazy. Or, like you say, they still know who they are, and if they decide to attack you for a certain reason, then that shows how sinister that person is underneath. But anyway, we'll wait till the very end to do ratings. So let's move
Stick
on
around
to
the end.
Yes. So, yes, Logan, you little shit.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the next movie, which is Howl. Now, believe it or not, I prefer this over werewolves.
Same.
And I'm sorry to say, but British werewolf movies trump American werewolf movies.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Because American Werewolf in London, Howl, you know, the recent 2010 The Wolfman remake, amazing. And the one right at the end of this conversation are the Boyos. So
honestly, I don't know why it is. I think because England or just the European flavor has a better grasp on what werewolves are in terms of what their dynamic is. I mean, true enough, we in America have done something, but I feel like y'all have a better grasp at it for some reason. Maybe that's just my opinion of how I look at it, but that's beside the point. I'm just saying. I mean, you really think about it. I mean,
Anubis has another opinion.
Okay, well, get it.
Well, you're not entirely wrong. I mean, there's quite a few British werewolf movies that are great. You're not wrong. I'm not sure I'm putting this one in that same category, but certainly they have a knack for doing some very good films and some that I really love. So,
So let's get cracking. Yeah. Howl is a 2015 British horror film directed by Paul Hyatt, starring Ed Speleers, Sean Pertwee, Holly Weston, Shauna MacDonald, Elliot Cohen, Rosie Day, Calvin Dean, Duncan Preston, and Ross Mullen. And basically, the plot of this movie is that the character played by Spedden, he works for Alpha Track. He's like an Alpha. It's called Alpha Track, which is a made-up fictional train company here in the UK, and he's a train guard. And basically, what happens is he's wanting to progress in his career. He's wanting to move forward, become a supervisor or whatever it is. He's just a general day-to-day bloke who's basically trying to make his way in the world. And he's trying to basically progress in his life so he can better his life. And he finishes like a long shift at work, and he basically he gets fucked over for the position that he's after. And the smarmy arsehole who is his supervisor, who clearly doesn't like him, is like, right, if you do the late shift, it might help you progress and get that job you want if you show your willingness in to make sacrifices or to do overtime. And basically, he's shattered. He doesn't really want to do it, but after what's happened and what's been said to him, he chooses to do basically the twilight shift, which is the worst shift going, which is where you work through the night into day shift. Because in London, I will say this, not all national rails in the UK travel all the way through the night. There's maybe one or two trains travel up and down the country through the night. But in London, train services are virtually 24/7 because it's the capital. Like here where I am in Newcastle, we have a train service that starts at 5 a.m. in the morning and ends at 11:30 p.m. So then you have no train service till the following 5 p.m.
I'm guessing the bigger the city, the more production in terms of the running time. I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, the capital is 24 hours in London. So basically, this guy's doing the twilight shift on the train as he's looking for tickets. He's also been told by his boss, "You're too nice. You need to toughen up and not be as nice." So he decides to go on the train, and as he's going around checking for tickets, he finds a particular lady who's finished a long day at work. She misplaces her ticket. He finds her. She goes, "Oh, you got at your job, aren't you?" She's like quite, sarcastic with him. He bumps into a spoilt teenager who's constantly on her phone. He bumps into this lovely old couple. He bumps into this businessman. He bumps into a completely, utterly arsehole of a bum, this overweight guy he's a typical British slob, basically. And, as the train's progressing, suddenly something happens and it halts on the tracks in the middle of the woodlands. So they've came out of London, out of the main city, and now head in the woodlands, heading towards the coastline. And obviously everyone's in a panic. Everyone's worried. Shit's going down. Mm-hmm. And slowly throughout the course of the plot, when, the driver of the train decides to go check what the hell's going on, he's suddenly attacked by this what we think is an unknown animal. But then it turns out to be a werewolf or a wolf man, however you'd like to look at it.
Well, it looks like Smeagol and an orc fucked each other.
Well, the thing about it is like one of them was a female, and I think two of them were male, if I'm not mistaken.
What is it, Neko said?
There's a lead.
Like Jamaicans.
Jamaica's watching this live stream right now.
Jamaican
you may want to turn back.
Yeah, right.
Does this look like a Jamaican to you, Neko?
Ari.
Yeah. All right, man. How I do it?
Does this look like reggae to you?
Well, if I woke up next to that, I go, "Fuck me, who fucked who?"
Right.
It just looked like Smeagol and
maybe you got real ugly.
Mm-hmm.
You got a face only a mother could love. That mother was ran over by a lawnmower.
That's true, but that's part of the plot. But we'll start with Anthony. Can you remember your first time seeing this film, and how did you feel about it?
A couple of weeks ago, and I found the premise really interesting. It took a few minutes to actually get going, and I liked the build. Thought the character combinations were good, and I even liked that. Even though, we showed that one werewolf, I like that some of the werewolves do look a little more distinct, so it's not just cut and paste.
Yeah, I'm Big Bad Wolf.
So the first time watching this film was 2 days ago, and so I will say I did like the premise of the film. I do enjoy the story, and all the characters were fantastic. Though I I will say they made them so well done that I felt like the only sensible character in the film, the one that actually had brains, was the one that turned out to be a total prick in the end. Because no one was listening to him. I'm like, guys, are you serious? You guys just pointed out the infection, and yet you're refusing to acknowledge what the heck is going on, even though you just pointed out the obvious. It's like, no, that's not what's going on. It's like, are you kidding me? You guys just pointed out. I would say I'm not a big fan of the werewolf design, but I do understand what they were trying to do with that. But I would say of all the werewolves, I like the big male that you just pictured. Like, that's the only one I actually prefer, because the rest of them look like complete garbage. Like, that big male right there actually looked good compared to the others.
Mm-hmm. For me, I don't class them as werewolf. I class them as wolfmen. You know, like the Wolfman. They're not werewolf. They're more like wolfmen.
I think there's actually even a reference that they're like hybrids.
Mm-hmm.
It said like it's like in the film. Instead, it's a mutation that happens through an infection.
Mm.
I'm not convinced they're like totally night creatures, like, because it starts to become dawn by the end of the film, and so they're still wandering around, not shifting or anything. So
yeah, it seems like once you're I watched a video breakdown of this recently, and it seems what's going on is it's not supernatural. So as soon as the moon goes down, usually your typical wolfman or werewolf, they refer back to human form, but they don't remember what happened the night before. Whereas these guys, it seems like it is an infectious mutation, because once the sunlight hits, there's still these monsters. So it seems like once they change, that's it. Goodbye to whoever they once were. They're that for the rest of their lives until someone shoots them.
yeah,
It's like an animal with rabies. Once an animal gets rabies,
basically, yeah.
pretty much once it gets rabies, that animal is that way until it eventually dies or someone shoots it. Otherwise, it's going to affect more and bring more of these rapid-filled animals that's just going to wreak havoc.
What your first time seeing this film?
Believe it or not, I actually bought the Blu-ray for this film. You know, I was just kind of curious.
Stop right there. Show that cover again. That was very misleading. I was hoping to see something like that, but we didn't.
Yes.
Well, that's the whole purpose of publicity. You know, they don't necessarily, they give you a taste, but they don't give. Well, it's kind of like werewolves.
It was super dishonest.
Yeah.
Well, at least werewolves.
Look, we've got fucking hyenas, not werewolves in the last.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
at least they look somewhat similar to what was advertised compared to what we got on that cover.
True, it does. But I bought the Blu-ray of this, and this is, I think, going back 6 or 7 years ago, I bought it. And I'm just gonna say I like the premise of, you know, if you've heard the premise of snakes on a plane, this is lichens on a train. So I was kind of like, that'd be kind of interesting to see. And it's set in jolly old England. You know, it's like, okay, let me give it a try and see what it's like. And surprisingly, I actually appreciate it for it, because it's a good premise. You know, I mean, it's not hella bad. You know, it's actually pretty decent. You know, I mean, it's hell of a lot better than what we just talked about. The previous film we just talked about. You know, way better than that. And no, I thought it was really entertaining. To tell you the truth.
Well, here's a question for people: is it as bad as Howling 7?
No.
Well, I can't say anything about that because I haven't seen Howling 7. But the way y'all talked about it, it's like,
dude, please take the time, go check it out. It's on Tubi. Please,
just watch out for your gumbo. Just watch out for your gumbo. There could be dirt in it.
Chili.
No. I know it's chili, but I have to make it relate to water. Your gumbo may have dirt in it later.
There is dirt in
highly
gumbo.
recommend it for you, Walter. Please go check it out.
check it out.
Then do a review about it on your channel.
Well, first watch
probably the shortest review ever.
First watch the Howling 5, then watch the Howling 7.
Okay, that's probably
you know what?
That's what I do.
That.
Well, I think
So
I've
he
seen
can
Howling
understand
4.
what's going
I mean,
on.
Howling 5, but Howling 7 I've not seen. So
Oh, okay.
No, he
never
doesn't
mind.
even need it because they don't even give a fuck about that in Howling 7. They do mention it, but it's not even that big a deal.
oh my god.
That's not what they're trying to push in Howling 7. They could care less about what happened in Howling 5.
Mm. Well, that's what they did
Just
with
get
the last.
just make sure you're ready for your country music okay? Just enjoy that, okay?
I mean, I like country music, so I mean, maybe.
Oh, there you go. You're gonna get plenty of that.
But
I've
Walter,
got
just
a funny feeling he's the only person in this panel that
That
will
would be-
like Howling 7.
Dude, I will laugh my ass off.
Walter, just so you know, though, it's not just country music. The
Mhm.
director clearly went out of his way to find the worst country music ever created.
Damn. Was he trying to? Was he trying to?
Has fleas.
Trying to suicide this movie? I guess maybe or something.
Well,
maybe?
he directed it, produced it, wrote it, and starred in it. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's trying to be an Alfred Hitchcock, except
No.
he's just a huge cock.
No, he's trying to be like a homeboy in what's that movie where he says oh hi Mark. I mean, he's trying to be like that dude. If he's trying to be like that, it's like okay, I get it. He's trying to be like that guy.
And the humor in it, oh, top notch. Cherry on the top. Just get ready.
You really.
But
want me to
anyways,
watch it.
back to
Happy
the
with
matter of subject.
Correct.
it. Yes.
Anubis, your opinion, your first time seeing this film.
I saw it first upon its release. It was pretty much on streaming pretty soon after it got released. I looked forward to it because at the time it was a newer werewolf movie that came out. And so I was like, oh, cool. Let's check this out. Love the setup. I love the atmosphere. I love the train idea. The actors are fine. Sean Pertwee, we're going to mention him again soon.
Mhm.
Also,
Mind
know
you,
what?
one thing I'll say is he died too soon.
Mm.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree. I felt like his character needed more screen time. Like
Well,
I
it was
so
probably
close.
a cameo. Like Sean probably read that script, said, "I'm not doing anything beyond this driver. I'm done." But either way, like the one thing that is kind of funny about this film is that like I don't care about any of those people on that train. They're all shitbags. Fuck them all.
Yeah.
Well, look, only one I like is the old man.
Yeah, but he was too fucking naive and stupid.
Yeah, he
Like,
was
dude,
too
look, I'm
stupid.
sorry. If I'm sitting there and my wife looks as ragged as she is after she got bit by something, I'm like, sorry, Neko, I've kind of got to go. I've got somewhere to be. I'll be back though. Check on you.
Well,
Yeah, I felt like he
do
was
have
so
somewhere to
stupid.
be tonight, but it's going to be the doghouse.
I'm going to ask you this question, Anubis. Would you actually do that? You do that to your better half?
She's nodding. Yes.
It was nice
Well,
knowing you.
here's the thing, right? This will actually solve all your questions, right? So,
Don't
Yeah.
get married.
Don't say that.
you're an idiot. If like the werewolves looked like the Howling, I'd say bite me because I want to be one of those. But that fucking ridiculous Jamaican shit, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not looking like that the rest of my life.
Yo,
Fuck
what
that.
up, dude?
Respectfully denied. Are you gaming?
Ryu Gaming.
But yeah, I will say the old man was the dumbest one. The whole. I mean, I can't say he loves his wife, but good grief, dude, she's literally trying. As soon as she was getting fully turned, it looked like a freaking ghoulish vampire trying to
Yeah.
kill him. Like, dude, what the heck are you doing? Like, he knocks out the guy who's trying to save his life. He's like, no, that's my wife. Like, that's not your freaking wife anymore. She's literally trying to kill you.
You look like a drug. She look like a drug addict. She look like a junkie for shit for real, man.
She looked like a ghoulish vampire.
Yeah. Yes, she did. You know?
I
Like,
posted
dude. Like,
Sites.
Mind, one thing I will say is as the plot progressed and there were different people trying to like find ways to either help or, you know, you had the Indian guy with the glasses, the Indian geek guy. He was my favourite character, and the way he went out, you heard the girl who was dragged out the window,
Yeah.
and you know the other guy was doing the fuel, trying to connect the the wires, and he heard her shout and scream. He went out, and then she was in the tree. And
Yeah.
there's just werewolves feeding on her
That was
body.
a pretty good scene.
I loved that scene. And then he was surrounded by werewolves and
Yeah.
killed. So for me, this film, it's not the greatest of werewolf film, but it does have flashes of good moments.
Yeah.
And another thing I will say, like you said, that older lady, the old couple, the lady got bitten, and like you say, it's meant to be an infection. I thought her transformation was pretty damn good.
Yeah, I did
But
that.
the only thing I'll say is it's just looking more like a vampire than a werewolf.
Yeah.
Yes, she looked like a very ghoulish vampire.
But I do think those effects are pretty good.
Yeah, 'cause it
I
was
think
mixed
I think the CGI on here compared to the CGI of the Wolfman is better.
Mhm. Yeah, because this movie, like I say, it was a mix of practical and CG, which I like. You know, I mean, combine the two techniques, you get a better feel for it. You know, I feel.
I will. Yeah, and I'm trying to think that. Dang it! I watched my train of thought.
No, don't worry, you get there. When you get that age, you'll understand.
Mm. But basically, this is a hopeless film in terms of no one's going to get out alive.
Oh no!
Except-
I was going to say. Now I know what I was going to say. Billy was my favorite character. I really liked Billy. Like he was one of the more genuine characters.
Yes.
That, and I will also say this. Did anyone else laugh their butt off when the girl got dragged out the window?
I didn't
Yeah, but I
laugh.
liked it because the only thing I didn't like about that was I would have liked to see, because it sounds like whatever werewolf it is like literally body slamming her on top of that fucking subway or that train.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, that would be cool to see. Like I saw the blood on the windows and stuff, but the way that you hear what's going on, I'm like, that's got to be a cool scene. You have to show that, and they never did.
I was just laughing my butt off because the entire film made you hate this girl no matter what, because she was just an absolute what.
Bitch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was like every prissy teenager you encounter in school. And so to see her get grabbed and dragged out the window, you went from
I mean, it's the same reason why I saw that other woman, the other bitch, like the business guy. They had like an old interaction between an interview, and then when she was being pulled out of the train, he just said, "This is Sparta." And kicked her
yeah,
out.
literally, he kicked her out, which made you hate him more.
Yeah. So like,
First off,
she
why didn't she run for it?
She was petrified with fear. That's why.
Yeah.
Or plot armor.
Well, that's what they always do in these
Also,
films. They
you don't know
never.
how many werewolves were around her. So it didn't matter where she ran, she might have had nowhere to go if she was surrounded.
That's another place. Yeah.
But overall, this is a mixed bag movie where it has some good moments, some good effects, some shitty effects.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it because I like the setup. I like the location. I like I say, it's a film where there's no hope because no one's going to get out alive.
Mm-hmm.
And it has sparks of like you see, that moment where you see her just basically chewed the bits in a tree, the spoiled little
It's still
bitch of a
alive.
girl.
Yeah.
And she's like being, basically getting fed on. And the fat, horrible bum guy, he's trying to take a shit in the toilet on the train, and he gets basically destroyed in the toilet. I just couldn't give a shit about him.
Yeah. Even though
It's
he was giving a shit.
But I found his character pointless. I think he was simply put in the film to be ripped apart. In
Which I was okay
Petrie,
with.
yeah, in Petrie's character, who, like you see, was a mere cameo as the train driver, they could have done so much more with that character. But clearly, this came out in 2015. Dog Soldiers came out in 2002.
Hey, see, that's the funny thing, right? They could have fucking made this into like a connected Dog Soldiers sequel, and then put better wolves in it. Would have looked fucking fantastic and would have been fun.
Yeah, watching
Or
Teacher.
they could have made this the Dog Soldier sequel.
Yes.
There was
It
supposed to be Dog Soldier sequel, and I think they were thinking about it in 2014, but then ultimately scrapped it altogether.
Because the right holders would not give the director the rights to do a sequel. So he has actually scrapped that. He had actually wrote a script and a story for a Dog Soldier sequel, but because he can't get the rights to the original, he can't make it. So he's now making a separate werewolf movie, that will be inspired by the story he'd written for Dog Soldiers 2.
Oh, so he's currently actually doing one?
Wow, he does good.
He's currently in planned stages of a new werewolf film.
Right.
But it cannot be called Dog Soldiers, and it
Of
can't be
course.
connected.
So, Walter, can you show your Blu-ray cover again?
Okay, hold on.
Show the cover again. Let
Yes.
the audience see what we could have had in the film.
Okay.
If the werewolf's faces looked anything like that, I would like the design a little bit more and would like the film a little bit more. Because I saw that, I saw that, and I went, okay, I can get by. I'm like, okay, I can get by this. And then see what it was actually. I went, are you freaking kidding me? Why is that the film cover if you're not even going to put that design actually in the film?
Another thing I did like in this one is that guy that was throwing everyone under the bus. I love that he got by the one character that turned.
Yes.
And it showed their intelligence because that character purposely threw his jacket on the ground as a way to lure him into a sense of security.
Yeah.
Because he knew he was going to, like I say, it was that moment when he does that and they come just bite him. It's like I'm trying to save someone.
I generally think this would have been a better film if it had a bigger budget and had, they'd used the characters better.
Right.
But I still think it's a fine film as it stands. It's not the greatest of werewolf films, but it beats every fucking Howling sequel I watched and tortured myself with.
I think it's about like a step and a half above just being a time waster.
Yeah, I will say I thought the premise was good. The atmosphere and mood was great. I thought the lore behind the Wolfman was good with how they did it. But what was weak was just, as you mentioned, the characters could have been utilized a lot better. And the werewolf design and appearance could have been so much better. Again, if it was anything like the cover, I would have liked them a bit more. Because as soon as I saw the cover, I went, okay, I could be sold behind that. And then saw that, I'm like, okay, what the heck, guys?
They could have made it more threatening, more claustrophobic. They could have basically made it like Train to Busan, but with werewolves on it.
Yes. In a way it was, but I mean,
But then imagine this though, making it the Dog Soldier sequel with elements of Train to Busan in it. It would have been fucking out of this world.
Well, just to add a little side note here, the people who did the effects on this did the effects for The Descent, who, by the way, was directed by the guy who directed Dog Soldier.
Rob Marshall.
Yes. So there's a connection, but not that much.
So that makes me wonder if that's how John Pertwee was casting this, because he's got connections to the people involved. And I think as well, after the success of Dog Soldiers becoming a cult classic and him being attached to that film, I think Pertwee, they went, right, we need a familiar name. So we'll get Pertwee, who's connected to Dog Soldier, to do a cameo, and it may pique interest to watch our movie, which is clearly what they were aiming for, and in many ways it's worked. But I do think his character was wasted.
Yeah, maybe, as you mentioned, you said maybe they had a bigger budget, they could improve the CGI and so much other stuff. I mean, that's why he was in that film for as long as he was because the budget couldn't afford him to be in there any longer. Since he's a pretty well-known character, since he's a pretty stable actor.
Yeah, and he's a well-known British name. Like,
he's a household name.
Yes. Yeah. And to be honest, the guy who plays the old man, he's a well-known British.
I was going to say, wasn't he a well-known actor?
Well, he's not known in film. He's majority a television actor.
But I think he's. Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't he pretty popular? Or
He's very popular. Like he starred in the soap opera Emmerdale in the UK, which is one of the biggest. You have Days of Your Lives, where you've got EastEnders, Coronation Street, Emmerdale. He's massive in Emmerdale, and he's also appeared in loads of dramas in well-known, one-off specials. So he's a familiar and well-known face, which is probably why he was cast.
Yeah, because I mean, not everybody has to be in film to be actually well known. Even if they're overseas, I can say I can tell that some of them are well known because I watch and whatever, and I was like, I know that actor, I know this actor, so it's like, yeah.
Well, let's get to the good stuff.
Yes.
The next film on my list, of course, is this one.
Yes. Oh my God.
Late Phases.
Oh,
So-
look, another image that lies.
Right?
I know. Anubis, hang on. We'll get to that in a minute because I have
Oh
my
my
thoughts about
God.
that as well. I have my thoughts about that as well.
So, Late Phases is a 2014 horror drama film by director Adrian Garcia Bogliano and his first feature film in the English language. The film had its world premiere on March the 9th, 2014 at South by Southwest and stars Nick D'Amici as a blind war veteran who becomes the victim of a werewolf attack. Now, this has become probably one of my favourite werewolf films just because of him.
Is it? I just watched it again today. Does anybody get Tom Hardy vibes from this dude?
Yes, dude. I thought seriously, I don't know why, but I swore I thought that was Tom Hardy in makeup.
Yeah.
No,
Me
I
too.
got a different actor vibe from him, but I can't think of the actor's name off the top of my head. But I got a different actor vibe from him.
Since we're mentioning that, since the first one we talked about has been described as The Purge with werewolves, this one is almost Gran Torino with a werewolf.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Actually, yeah, that plus I was going to say this one reminds me a little bit of Silver Bullet plus Bad Moon because of the dog at the beginning. So
I was
there's-
actually thinking it was going to be more like Bad Moon at first.
Yeah, I got a lot of Silver Bullet vibes from this film.
I felt that too.
That's what I think, Silver Bullet. So
Yeah.
we'll start with Walter Ross, your first time seeing
Well,
Late
Nice.
Phases.
yeah. Well, I saw this one along with we won't mention that one again. Yesterday, and I can understand why you chose it because it's actually it's a damn good film. It's actually a damn good film. I'm like, okay, where's the werewolf premise going to come into this? And it's like it's a very slow burn, and I like it for that. So from what I was watching, I was like, okay, Mr. Ginger Man actually picked a good one here. So I commend you for that.
Thank you,
Damn.
sir.
saying you actually picked a good one.
Actually,
All your other
it's
ones
kind of
suck.
insulting.
I
that's
don't.
like
I didn't make it.
that's
I didn't.
That's like a backhanded compliment.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
Yeah, well,
almost like it's almost like
Right, Walter.
oh, that's cold.
What kind of backhanded compliment was that?
It's like Walter was telling him, "God bless your soul."
Oh God, it just came out wrong. Sorry.
You're
That's
all
what he
good. We're
said.
just having fun.
Oh God.
Not the
But
first
anyway,
time something came out wrong.
I forgive you, Walter, my brother. I love you, my brother. But anyway, don't do it again.
I did. Right.
You heard the gingerbread man. Don't do it again.
Gingerbread. Okay. Okay. No.
So, John,
So my first time watching this film was 3 days ago. I watched this on Wednesday as soon as I got back home from working out. I started on Monday, finished it on Wednesday because I have to finish this. And the premise was good. The atmosphere was good. The actor did a phenomenal job playing a blind war vet. I liked his story and his arc. You could tell he was very you could tell like most of it, he was very guilt ridden by when he was at war. You could see he still had some PTSD from it. Well, also what happened to him and his certain companion. Like you could see that literally was his breaking point because he just didn't give a crap about life after that. Which is how most of us would feel if we lost our companion. The story was great, and as we mentioned, there's so many Silver Bullet vibes. Like when I'm guessing it's a guy that helps out the priest, started freaking out. He felt guilty. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I need help," and you think he's praying and everything, but then he gives like the biggest 360 turn on the audience. You're like, "Oh crap, I didn't see that coming."
Well, that's what I like about Silver Bullet. They give off this vibe. The priest, he's having these nightmares because he's worried about his congregation. He's worried about his community. And you see him, for the most part, telling people not to go out looking for the wolf and trying to protect people. But then it turns around, once it's revealed he is the werewolf, you see this dark, sinister side of him.
Yeah, it's like what happened with this guy wasn't the priest, but it seems like he's a guy that helps out with the priest. At one point, when he realized, "Oh crap, I'm about to get got," he started getting very desperate and started going to other people, either killing them or turning them so he has companions to help him. Because he realized, "Oh crap, this guy means business. We cannot screw around with him." Which earlier, the funniest scene for me was when he whacked him over the head with a shovel. Which was also a great scene, as it showed, even though he's blind, he has really good situational awareness. Like it's almost an instinct for him.
It's enhanced, yeah.
Yeah, there's them modern horror films that come out with the guy. He's in Avatar. He plays the colonel, the villain colonel, but they brought out them filmed with him.
Ike, the guy that plays Ike.
Yeah, but the horror film he's in, he's blind, and people break into his
God damn, what is it called?
I was gonna say, but I'm trying to think.
Like he is
It's
blind,
actually very good film, but crazy.
yeah, they did a sequel. They did a sequel. There's two of them.
Yeah.
Basically, he's blind, and you're meant to feel sorry for him because he's the blind man. But these people, but he's actually the villain. He's like a psychopath who's blind.
Don't breathe.
Don't
Yes,
breathe.
there you go.
I've heard of that film.
But this is like a similar thing where he's an ex-war vet who's blind, but because he's lost his sight, he's now got this ability to understand things around him better because he's using his training to help him.
Except this, it's a little more grounded, where Don't Breathe, he might as well have been Daredevil.
And what I like about this film is that you got an actor in here. You know who it is, but he's the guy who's from The Last Starfighter, which is like, I didn't recognize him at first.
Yes.
Not that dude, but this other dude that pretended to be the dude. Now he's the one that's working with the priest, and I was like, not that dude.
That's the priest.
That's the priest, but the other guy.
And then we've got the guy who is revealed to be the one.
Yes. I didn't realize that was until I really looked at him. I was like, "Oh, that's the guy from The Last Starfighter, Lance Guest." I was like, "Oh shit," you know. So
another great thing, the main actor, is how well he portrayed being blind.
Yeah.
But the plot as it goes, he basically, like you see, he's a blind veteran, and he's moving into this, retirement community with his loyal dog. At first, he's a bit standoffish. There's 3 women that are kind of trying to get to know him, and he's kind of rude to them. But one of them, he kind of takes a liking to. Obviously, one night she's like doing that, just going to her bed, just sorting herself out in her room, when her apartment is invaded by the Yeti. The werewolf.
You might as well say the Yeti. Yeah.
No, it's a mutated gremlin.
And this is what
It's actually a mutated. It's actually a were Shih Tzu, is what it is.
No, it's a were Chihuahua.
I mean, what kind of face is
I
that?
have a were-hairless Chihuahua.
Well, can I tell you something? This is what confuses me. So I got these behind the scene photos. So this is it getting created.
Hmm.
Okay.
I showed that to my friend Ice Redbeard.
But it look,
when
but
I told-
but on screen it looks nothing like that.
Some of it does.
Well, here's the funny thing. So when I told this to my friend Redbeard, I'm like, it's a good film, but wait till you see the werewolf design. He looked at me, he said, what the heck is this?
Like maybe it's just the lighting, because maybe the lighting's too dark in areas where it didn't display like the features as well as they could have. But I generally look at them behind the scene photos and what we've got on screen, and like you said with Walter with the cover of Howl, for me it looks like a totally different creature.
No, because that's what I was expecting. I was expecting something different.
Yeah, it looked like a monstrous gremlin.
Let's be compared to the other Howling films. This is Rick Baker work.
Yes. But you cannot, hats off to the creator though, because I will respect everybody for who works on any film, because you're taking your time out to try to create something that's entertaining.
Actually, now that I look at this behind the scenes, it looks like a mutated rat.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a killer shrew. It's like the killer shrew.
I just think it just looks like a it looks like a rat with that kind of face,
But, the neighbour he cares about gets mauled and killed. His beloved companion, his dog, which totally blew me away that the dog died.
Yes, I hated that.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
he
no,
was pissed when the
Okay,
neighbour
like,
got killed.
Okay, the dog's hurt, but do you necessarily have to kill it? Like,
Mhm.
I mean, obviously the dog probably was seriously injured, but comparing it to like what happened with Thor, I'm like, maybe it's not quite as bad as you think it is, but you're putting it out of its misery anyway.
Well, the dog probably would have bled out, or by the time he could have gotten to the vet in the morning.
Oh,
a
yeah, that's true.
massive-
That's a good point, because he didn't even have a phone that first night when he got attacked.
Yeah, he had no way to. He had no
Even
way to
if it
call.
didn't bleed it out, it would have been septic by morning. So
Yeah.
I kind of like putting the dog out of its misery was the right call.
Whereas Thor wasn't too badly injured. Like he had a few cuts and scrapes here and there, but as we saw at the end of Bad Moon, Thor got bandaged up and he was fine.
He's
Yeah,
like,
but
that's what
again, the point is that there was no phone, so there's no way for the dad, the blind guy, to call anybody for help. That makes sense.
You see, what I thought when I saw the dog, my first thought was, oh, this is going to be like Bad Moon, and a good chunk of the movie is going to be the dog protecting its owner from the werewolf. But no, it's the owner avenging his dog.
Yeah, and that's what made me kind of sad when I saw that, because you see the gashes in the dog. It's like, oh my god! And then he takes the gun, and it's almost a mirror image of that moment where Will Smith's character kills his dog in I Am Legend. I'm like, man, I can't watch this, but it's necessary.
Yeah, but it once the dog, he has to put the dog down. That is when he goes into die hard and like, right, you fuck with me neighbour, mauled her. I can live with that, but fuck with me dog, it's on, bitch.
Yeah.
He turned into John Wick.
Yes. There you go. Yes.
Well, I just want to say this real quick. Like, I saw this when it first came out because a lot of people were praising it, like overly praising it, like a lot. So my initial viewing of it, I was like, I don't get it. I don't see what everyone's saying so great about this. I watched it again today, and I have a little bit better feel about it. I still don't think it's quite as great as everybody wants to make it be, but the story is very strong. I really like the story, and I like the fact that he's very close to that dog. He even after the vet, he's like, I'm taking it home. I'm going to bury. He buys this big ass fucking headstone that he's going to put next to it. So I thought that was cool. Like, that's kind of like him saying, and that's that total Gran Torino moment that Anthony's talking about. He's placing value on this dog more than his family, even though he does love his son and everything. He's just putting more value on that dog because how much that dog meant to him in his life.
And does anyone get some kind of like Home Alone vibes for what he does in this film a little bit? I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not so much like it, but it's you got to kind of.
Yeah, because near the end he starts setting traps for each of the werewolves.
Yeah.
Mhm. The thing I like though as well, like what I've said, one element I love about werewolf films is if you're not told who the werewolf is straight away, it's trying to guess who it is. And like you see, I thought that like probably the majority who watched this when he's sitting next to the priest, I'm thinking they're doing a silver bullet. Yeah, it's going to be the priest.
Yeah, homage.
Or it's going to be. I thought it was going to be the priest. Did I think it was going to be one of that guy, the nice guy? I had an inkling it was, but then I thought, well, there were 3 women he was after, and because of the shape of the werewolf looking feminine to me.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because I swear I'm thinking that myself. I was thinking, could it be some of the women that lived in the?
Yeah, when
that's what I thought at first.
When I seen this and I looked at the werewolf and this photo, like when I watched it, I'm thinking, is it one of the other women that's jealous because he's now stating having liking for her?
Right.
And they throw him off the beaten path by making it the priest or this nice guy. But it turned out obviously to be the other guy.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I thought at one point though, like, so there's that moment they're on the shuttle and the 3 women are like, you know, pretty much bad mouthing the blind guy, saying that we think he's violent and dangerous. Obviously the guy that ends up being like our bad dude, you know, he's looking at him, says, to me, it was kind of like, I thought they were going to use him as like, oh, these girls are bitches, I'm going to kill them anyway. Like, I thought that's kind of like what the train of thought was, but it didn't really go there. He does visit them, but for a whole different reason.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be one of the women that. I thought it was going to be one of the women or the women that greeted him when he first moved in, because that seemed like the more reasonable explanation. Because of how he was with them at first, like, we don't like this guy. We're going to kill him when the full moon comes.
But then maybe they changed it to be the guy because they thought, right, everyone's going to guess it's one of the women.
Probably. But
that's another idea I had. Like, imagine instead of a coven of witches, a coven of female werewolves that they like sacrifice a guy and eat him.
Kind of like what happened in Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, but did y'all know that one of the women was Ginger?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you might know it was, yes.
I noticed ginger to ginger, I knew.
Yeah. Well, well, I'm talking about Ginger from Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, I knew. I knew what you were talking about.
Okay, that's what you can share. See, only certain ones would actually know who that is. So yeah.
But in the end, this was quite enjoyable.
No, it was.
Yeah, I would say it was pretty. The ending was pretty sad. I almost teared up quite a bit just because it made me think of my grandfather.
But how the werewolf went down and the plot and how, you know, what happened and.
Well, he sends that message to his son, pretty much saying, "I'm sorry I wasn't the dad I could have been for you," and he's explained that. When the son was born, it was literally the happiest day of his life. And he's sorry he couldn't be the father that he needed him to be growing up.
Because his blindness was affected.
Well, it wasn't just that, but it was just what war did to him.
PTSD.
Yeah.
Like I say, he's revenged the death of his dog and his neighbour. And I think the whole werewolf caper was in him being able to defeat that.
Yeah.
In many ways, it was him trying to overcome his PTSD, and it was also him because you don't know the backstory of how well he did it in the war. Was he considered? Yes, I know he's left and he's got medals and all that, but was he considered somebody respectable, or was he considered somebody that
or was he loose cannon?
Yes,
or was he loose cannon?
In the fact he has this kind of, distant relationship with his son, you never know. And maybe in his way, him doing this and freeing the world of a werewolf is him giving back if he's done wrong, and him also like trying to do something good. And like you see the message he leaves his son, and then when his son obviously he takes the pills and that, it is quite emotional. It's not something you expect to be the ending of a werewolf film.
But I'm glad that it does have that underlining story there, because it lets you know it's like, okay, it's a werewolf film, but there's something more, enduring in it. I'm glad.
Like it makes you to remind us, like, hey, it is a werewolf film, but we all still focus on this character.
Yes.
We haven't forgot his story.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's why I think this is different. And yes, I understand Anubis is the point where is it overhyped or it's not the film people expect it to be, but I can see why it is popular because of the story and the connecting factors of like PTSD, the army. It's very similar to Silver Bullet, veterans, and out of a lot of modern or well-known werewolf films, for me, this is quite high up there with them, just in terms of story for me.
Yeah, I appreciate
So, final thoughts, Jedi.
As I mentioned before to you, you did pick a good one for this, and I appreciate that. I should have said my piece better than what I said, but no, this. No, I can understand why you chose this particular film, because it's good to know that films like this, you can say on the surface like it's all right, but peel back the layers, you'll be discovering that there's more to it than just what you see on the surface. Even though Anubis even said like the poster is very misleading for what you see in the werewolf, but that's beside the point. The story and the character of the story is what makes it.
The story makes you forgive the werewolf design, even if it does look like a mutated hairless chihuahua.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, only to a degree, though.
Anthony, final thoughts on Late Phases?
Great movie. I really love this one, and I'm not sorry. That werewolf design is not that bad in this one. We've seen so much worse this month.
Would you say it's a new favorite of yours?
Yeah, I definitely plan on picking this up on Blu-ray.
Cool. I'm Big Bad Wolf.
I will say it probably does make it to my top 10. It was definitely a different take with having a blind man being the main character, which worked very well because, like Anthony said earlier during the week, it made you really worry for his safety because he lost that safety jacket when the dog died, because that dog was his only sense of safety. So once it died, he was literally forced to have to look after himself. But it also showed that even though he's blind, he's quite capable of handling himself, even without the dog. Like that moment when he knocked out that guy with the shovel.
And finally, DJ Anubis.
Like I said, I have like a newer appreciation for the story this time around. I watched it earlier today. This would have been better served as like a focus on the story, maybe have like a serial killer or something going on around rather than werewolves. My biggest problems with films like this or how is, of course, the designs. And I know you guys are not as picky as I am. I am fucking very picky. I don't give a fuck. No excuses. No sorries. No nothing.
That's how I am too, Anubis.
When your werewolves look like ass, it hurts your film immensely. Immensely. But I can say that once I get to my rating, it's going to be better than it was when I saw it back when it was released. So I'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah, I would say, despite the design, the story helps you forgive that.
Yeah.
So, one of the worst of the bunch. I mean, the best of the bunch.
Someone kick out the host.
Well, I know the way you fools were going. You might hate this film. Who knows?
Yeah, right.
So, here we go. We're on to the cult classic and I fucking love this poster. One of the best werewolf posters
Yes, right.
ever made, in my opinion. We're on to Dog Soldiers. So, let's get cracking and talk about it. So, Dog Soldiers is a 2002 British, hear that? British
Yes, British.
action horror film written, directed, and edited by Neil Marshall in his feature directorial debut, starring Sean Petrie, Kevin McKidd, Emma
Grey's
Clasby,
Anatomy.
and Liam Cunningham. The
Kevin
film
McKidd
follows-
is also OG Johnson McTavish
Yes,
for you Call of Duty fans.
that is true. The film follows a squad of soldiers fighting to survive an attack by a pack of werewolves during a military training exercise in the Scottish Highlands. And have you noticed? That's how you know it's going to be a good werewolf film. It's in the Scottish moors in the Highlands, similar to American Werewolf in London.
You trying to
Because
say
the
something?
moors are fucking terrifying. If you go to the moors and it's foggy and it's windy and it's raining and you've got rocks and fucking nothing but darkness around you, you will shit your pants.
I believe it.
Yes, I've done it a couple of times and I have always wore a nappy.
What a nappy.
Just about.
Okay.
Anyway, this
Let's
film,
do sports.
let's start with my friend Anubis this time. First time seeing this film.
Saw it back in 2002 when it got released. Was certainly a surprise because, you know, up until that point, the best werewolf film I'd seen was Bad Moon back in the 90s. So when this one came out, especially when I think I saw it on Sci-Fi Channel or something where they were releasing it, but the minute I saw it, I was like in love with it. I like the looks, I like the story. It's a very fast-paced movie. The characters are fun. I love Sean Pertwee. Just an amazing cast. And I think the other guy, Liam Cunningham, we just saw him in the vampire film, The Voyage of the Demeter. So,
Last Voyage with Demeter.
yeah, so very great actor as well. So, but this is a really, really fun film. Has a little bit of twist in it, and yeah, man, this is definitely top 3 for me. You know, I'm sure it's top 5 for most people that love this movie. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Jedi Granville.
I originally saw this film. Ooh, good lord, how long ago was this? This is like a decade ago, you know. And I heard about it. Didn't know exactly what it was really about. I mean, I had a premise, but when I did see it, I was like, "Damn, dude, this is the gratuity of the film." It's like, okay, well, it shows right. We're not pussyfooting around with what we're doing here, you know. And just like Anubis said, I mean, this one is really. It's going through the jugular for what it does in terms of werewolf films. You know, I was like, I like that. You know, you have
The jugular.
yes,
You mean like this? You mean like this?
yes. I mean, if you're gonna bring the pain, bring it like yes, show it. Don't put like I say, don't.
It doesn't. That's one thing about I will always give this film credit for. It does not hold back on the gore. And when you think of werewolf, you want to see them slashing, clawing, you know, ripping out your throat, ripping out, you know, your intestines, and it does deliver.
And I love that. That's why I say. That's why I say it's like. I mean, and I'm not partial to. I mean, to the violence, but I'm like, dude, if I'm watching a horror film and it doesn't deliver that kind of stuff, I'm like, dude, I don't want to see this shit. This is watered down crap. I mean, give me the vengeance. Give me the hardcore stuff that I need, you know? I mean, give it to me, you know? And this does do that.
Yes. So Big Bad Wolf. Your first time seeing Dog Soldiers.
So the first time I saw this film, I was 9 or 10 years old, and I think it was on, if it was on the Sci-Fi Channel, it was definitely on the DirecTV channel, Chiller, which is known for showing horror films and horror shows. And my impression of that film was it was pretty amazing. I love the portrayal of the werewolves, of how they operate as a pack, as a family. It's like a very desperate survival story of soldiers trying to survive the night by all means necessary. It was extremely claustrophobic because the house was literally really small, so you knew like no matter where they went, they were not safe.
I like how they indirectly like do like the Goldilocks and the Three Bears vibe.
Oh yeah,
That's
definitely.
exactly what I was thinking.
Well,
It
funny thing you
reminds
should
me of that.
funny thing you should mention it because Sean Pertwee's character literally makes a nod at that whenever Kevin McKidd's character Cooper goes, he goes like the only people that are from around here live directly right here. And Sean Pertwee's character went, of course, we broke into their house, ate their porch, slept in their bed. No wonder they're pissed off at us. Yeah. It was just like, it was a nice twist. It's like, oh crap, no wonder they won't leave them alone. They are literally inside their home. They're inside their den. And there was some other plot twists in there that just made the story so much better with 2 or 3 jokes. That's also chef. That's just like a nice little cherry on top. But like Kevin and Jedi mentioned, it does not hold back on the gore. I think one of the funniest moments is when Joe goes in to start up the vehicle, the headlights turn on, and you see the werewolf just slowly chewing into Terry, and then he just rips off his head and throws it like a soccer ball.
Yeah.
That's like Terry's trying to ask for help, but the werewolf just goes, nope, just tears off the head and then throws it at him as a way to say, ha, I got your friend. Nice. Good luck trying to save him. He's dead now.
Yeah, he's done.
Mm-hmm.
He dead, son.
Anthony, first time seeing this film.
A couple years ago, I remember really liking it. And to kind of keep on point with the previous 3 movies, if Werewolves was The Purge with werewolves, Late Phases was
Gran Torino
with werewolves. This one is Night of the Living Dead with werewolves. And it did it really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, as you know, the plot starts off with a couple that are suddenly attacked.
Bad moon.
Yeah, bad moon. But it's not as horny or sexy. And they are killed, boom, by these unknown entities. The next thing you know, you've got these soldiers who are like out on a training assignment. Well, you first see the other soldiers, who are out, and you don't know what happens to them. You just know some shit goes down, and then these other soldiers out there, and they're on this trainer's assignment, and just like the first lot of soldiers, there's something out there. There's this vibe that something's going on. They don't have real bullets in the guns, and they're suddenly attacked by something, and then it's like a free for all, and they end up, like you see, in like this cottage in the woods. They basically barricade themselves in it, and like you say, it's them against whatever's out there. And you're introduced to different characters throughout. So obviously these are the main soldiers. I love most of these guys. Does anyone have a particular favorite?
The guy in the middle there. I've seen him before. I can't remember his name, but he was in.
That's the guy who played the train driver in How.
That's Sean Pertwee.
Well, Tom Pertwee. That's what he is. But no,
he's Alfred in Gotham.
But he was in Event Horizon too. That's the other thing.
Yep.
He played, So yeah.
Mhm.
The other thing is about that, like, so the scene where he's getting drunk when Cooper's trying to sew him up, that's real. Like, he's actually drunk. He literally hit the kid for real in that scene. But the thing is Marshall felt that it was so authentic that he didn't take it out. And the kid didn't take any
It was
offense to
so
it.
it was so funny because Drew's kid was like, "Come on, what are you doing, you pansy? Hit me, hit me!" And
Yeah,
the kid just goes like he doesn't hold back either. He literally
Yeah.
lets him have it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. I love that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I just like how Megan goes, do I need to give you two some alone time?
Yeah.
Do you know that Sean Pertwee is the son of one of the original Doctor Who's?
Really?
Yes. Yeah,
Never knew that.
his father, I think, was the third Doctor. And this is so his father, who plays one of the Doctor Who's, is a well-respected actor. He was a theatre actor as well as a television actor. So, of course, because of the respect behind his father, and obviously he himself is now a well-respected actor, but he's actually mentioned that he tried to pick roles that weren't similar to his dad because he didn't want to be typecast.
Now that you mentioned that, I can see the resemblance.
And I think he's pretty much carved himself out a pretty good career for himself on his own name. Whether he'll be remembered later down the line more than his father, who knows? But I personally think that Sean Pertwee is a great British actor.
Yes.
And is very much deserves as much respect as his dad has ever had. And I loved his dad.
He deserves the flowers.
Yeah, his dad was probably the first Doctor Who I saw as a kid. But I also remember his dad in a series called Wormel Gummidge, where he played a scarecrow that comes alive. It was a kids program, and it was a kids program that was funny, but it also scared the living shit out of you when you had the evil scarecrow maker who had evil scarecrows. But that's a different story for a different time. But Anubis, I'll let you continue the plot so you get these training soldiers, because I know you love this film.
Yeah, so they're training now. The thing you have to remember is this Cooper used to be part of a training thing with another guy named Captain Richard Ryan. And so there's a scene there at the beginning where Captain Ryan tells him you need to shoot the dog because this is about survival, about being a soldier, but Cooper won't do it. Now, Ryan pulls the trigger of the gun, but there's no bullets in it. But the point was he was trying to make is that you have to survive. Like, you have to do the hard things to make the hard calls to be a part of this team, which was his like special forces unit. But anyway,
Cooper was kind of like being tested and trained to see if he had what it takes to be part of the special forces.
And so he ends up like striking Cooper or something. So they just have a falling out, but that will come to light later. But anyway, so Cooper's now part of Pertwee's team, and they're just a training exercise. They've got blanks and are going through the forest. Their objective is not to be caught by the other group that's like, searching them out. Obviously, during the night, Ryan's team, who's actually the ones chasing after Cooper's team, is attacked by something. And so suddenly they're just, you kind of go through their attack and then we're done. But then they get to Pertwee and Cooper and they discover that they end up being scared by like a wild boar. They end up stabbing a wild boar or something. But they start telling stories about people that disappear in the woods out there, and they talk football, like actual soccer, stuff like that, things they enjoy. My favorite character in here is Spoon. Obviously, I love that character so fucking much. Really fun character. But eventually, they find the encampment where Captain Ryan and them were, because that was something that Wells, played by Purty, was curious about like why the boar had come their direction all cut up and scratched up. So as they found the encampment for Ryan, they see that there's all these gear and stuff like that. And eventually they come across Ryan, who's like hurt, like he's got like his intestines are almost falling out, and he's fucked up. So they tape him up as good as they can, but it wasn't long before they're attacked by the werewolves themselves. And so that begins this whole chase scene of, some of the soldiers just getting killed. Like the one dude, that was really kind of one of the coolest scenes. He's being chased and he runs into a fucking tree trunk that has like branches sticking out and impales himself.
Yes.
But he thinks like that's my day. Like I'm just gonna die like this. But then you see in his eyes the werewolf come up and just like literally probably take his head off, which is so fucking cool.
Can
love
I
that.
just say I was totally didn't know what to expect because there was all this build up. You see him running, then you just see like something running, but you don't see it. You just see it from like the camera angle. I didn't know what the hell was going to happen. Then when you see him getting peeled, I thought, you stupid prick. And then I'm sitting there thinking, oh well.
Yeah, you hear the growl out of nowhere. You're like, oh, there he goes.
Yeah,
but that's kind of like the interesting thing because paranoia or at least fear will let you do like things you wouldn't normally do. Like you wouldn't think it out. Like, how do I avoid this creature? But he's so terrified at what he's seeing, he just runs right into it, not even thinking.
Yeah. But for me, it starts off light-hearted, not light-hearted, but it starts off not as heavy. And then as it progresses, and then he gets killed, and then it starts to get the late nightfall, and they're stuck in the woods, and then you see other people going missing, and then they come across
Megan.
the character. They find him, and he's like, they end up going to the cottage, and he's trying to explain to them what's going on and what's happening, and they're like, "Are you fucking on drugs or whatever?" They don't actually know what goes on, and then suddenly it gets to the point where, as they're talking, and people are kind of like confused and wondering what the hell's going on. That is when, of course, things begin to change, and that's where somebody reveals themselves to be a werewolf.
Yeah, the funniest thing about that scene, I think I know what you're trying to mention. The funniest thing about this, right before she turns, she goes, "It's that time of the month."
Yes.
Another thing I like.
I was thinking, do I spoil that bit or not? Well, fuck it. It came out in 2002.
Yeah, I mean that's like
if you haven't seen it yet, that's your fault.
Another thing I like comparing this to Night of the Living Dead, much like with Night of the Living Dead, what's going on in the house is almost a bigger threat than what's going on out of the house. Not only do we have certain people that aren't getting along, but we also have infected parties that are ticking time bombs.
Yeah, like there's that scene to where, like, first off, they get the Sarge back upstairs because as the Sarge went to find that soldier that impaled himself, he ends up getting disemboweled by the werewolf. So they're like, we need to get him patched up immediately. And as soon as they super glued everything, got him put back together and everything, they go back downstairs. Later on, after Terry dies and Joe dies, they are already interrogating the captain because, like, he knows something we don't. There's a reason why he was out there. He wouldn't just be out there for some training exercise. Something's going on here, and that's when Captain Ryan reveals, we have been told about some mysterious sightings of these creatures, and we wanted to capture them alive to see if we could weaponize them, like how you train dolphins.
There was only supposed to be one.
Yeah, and it's like, we want to train these like how you can train dolphins to put out mines in these waters or something. And then he goes like, well, funny thing, Captain Ryan, you seem to be feeling better when before you were taking on death's door. He goes, oh, well, I just feel good. It's like, really? would you mind if we took a look at your wounds? Nope. He goes, well, they rip it open. And you see he's completely healed where before he was, like Anubis said, his guts were almost hanging out because he got torn open.
Yes.
And they're like, you literally sent us out here to die. And then that's when Captain Ryan starts to transform.
I love that moment with Ryan too when he's looking at Cooper and he's like, monkey see, monkey do.
And so he's transforming, but it makes you wonder about these lycanthropes as if they can actually resist. Like, it seems like each one of them can resist for a certain time period, or it seems like they can resist until a certain emotional factor triggers the transformation to pop off. Like with Ryan, it's like the more they agitate him, he just eventually just started to transform. Like he's like, well, I can't hold this back any longer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it could be also emotion. So, you know, sometimes you think about, and at least I do when I think about lycanthropes, and whether it's Underworld or any other kind of werewolf movie I've ever seen, like, so take The Howling, they can do it at will. But if you think about it, if you're a young person or a young werewolf and you've been bitten, you haven't experienced the change or experienced what it's like yet. So for Ryan, he might have been fine. He might have had control, but because he was getting angry at Cooper and them, it's probably what set off his change.
Yeah.
Because I look back now at Megan, she has total control of it. Yeah. And so to me, it's like, if you've done it for a while, then you can control it more than you would if you just got bit and all of a sudden you become that. So again, we go back to Wells at the end, played by Perty. He knows what's coming. And then when it finally happens, I think, again, it's the stress of what's going on because he's fighting off other werewolves at the time of his death. So again, the stress, the emotion, that forces his change faster than it would have any other time.
Yeah, at that point, because he knew he was knocking on death's door.
Yes.
And it was like a desperate attempt to try and kill off anything as soon as he could. But it was like at the end, we see like he slowly was starting to feel it because
But it does lead you to one thing. I'm sorry to cut you off, Wolf. But it does lead you to one thing about, because they do have an intelligence. Yeah. So again, do we look at this kind of like the way we looked at werewolves, where even when Ryan changes, we see him later on, he recognizes Cooper like he does. So I wonder, a part of me wonders if Wells had changed, would he been able to fight against this pack? He probably would have lost, but like, would he would have had the intelligence to do that? Maybe he just thought that he would fall in line. I don't know, but
yeah,
he
probably. I was going to say maybe he feared like as soon as he transformed, it would be that hive mind like pack mentality. As soon as he transformed, he would be one of them.
That's what I was wondering about.
Because it happened with Megan, because before that she said, I had no choice to be part of this screwed up family. Which what I think happened is, because she says she was a zoologist also trying to investigate what's been going on. And I think what happened was one day she ended up stumbling onto a secret by accident. And they're like, okay, here was your choice. Either you become our separate or you become one of us. And I'm thinking it could be a pack mentality where as soon as you transform, you automatically become one of them. Because it seemed like she was trying to find a way out until she couldn't control the transformation any longer.
But you know, the character of May.
Oh, sorry, Waller.
No, you go ahead. I'm going.
The thing with this is they kind of drop breadcrumbs. For potential sequels or prequels. It still annoys me to this day that you've got The Howling that has got horrendous fucking sequel after sequel. And then you get this really good, but it's also a good thing in many ways, how this film became a cult classic. And to this day, Rob Marshall, the director, has been fighting for years and years to do his sequel, and because it went nowhere, he's had to kind of get a new team together to work on a separate werewolf film.
I would be so mad if I was him, which I'm sure he's very upset. Okay.
He's the kind of director though that it sounds horrible to say, he's always been screwed over.
No, he
Like-
has. Yeah.
Like he did Descent. He did the Descent. I don't think he directed Descent 2, but I think he would wanted to have done that, but things didn't go well. He was definitely screwed over on the Hellboy film he created. He had vision for what he wanted it to be, and the studio interference, it didn't turn out to be the film he wanted it to be. He's actually said because of his experience on that particular film, he's never going to make a big budget film ever again. He's just going to stick to more independent type films.
And that's probably why, because if he's being dicked over, then it means that he's losing control of the stuff, his vision of what he wants to do.
Mhm.
So, and a lot of times that happens with big mainstream stuff because the studio kind of dictates. They say, okay, we're going to give you this budget. But if we increase this budget to a certain thing, we have to get a return. So in that, they say to these directors, they say, well, we'll give you the 100 million or whatever it is you need to do this film, but you better make 250 million. So we're going to say, like, if the director says, well, I want this actor and this actress, we're like, well, no, they're not big enough names. We need fucking plan A or plan B because we know that will draw people to the movie theaters. But if they don't fit the roles, it ruins the movie. So this is why directors should have more say in what they want to happen.
And also, though, you do get legendary directors who will create a film, get the money, whatever they want, but the film may cost 100 million, but the movie will only make 30 million. But then the studio will still give them a budget of 100 million for their next film because the director has a name attached. So sometimes it's not always just about the actors attached to the name of the movie, it's the director. Like, for example, if Christopher Nolan started now suddenly making shit movies, the studio, I still think, would give him a 200 million budget because it's the name recognition.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
That's sad though. It's like that. That's the unfortunate system that the Hollywood system works like, because you feel like, because that's what I've always believed when it comes to filmmaking in general, that directors, the only reason, like say Mr. Spielberg is able to do the stuff that he's done because he gets the respect from the studios and anyone that he's worked with.
He has a reputation.
He has a reputation, but if you don't get that respect or reputation, representation, people. I mean, the studios are just going to pretty much say, "It's like, oh, we ain't going to give you this. Fuck that. You do it like we want to." As New would say, we're going to dictate how you should play this out. And if it doesn't come out the profit that we want to, it's like, well, hey, your name's going to be scattered to the wind, basically.
Good example. Look at Ridley Scott. His movie quality has been falling off the side of a mountain, yet he can still make these huge budget films.
Oh God, yes,
precisely. So, what's your take, Anubis, on the ending of this particular film?
I love it.
How it
I think
ends.
it's fun. Yeah, I love it because
I like how it goes back to the beginning with the silver note holder, the note opener.
Yep. Yeah. So you think it's kind of like over. Wells tells Cooper to jump down into the cellar to protect because he's going to light the fuse for the oven to blow up the house, which he does. And you kind of think it's over. Now, this part kind of reminded me a little bit of Swamp Thing in some ways. I don't know why, but it just
I was
does.
thinking the same thing.
But we get Captain Ryan, who's still alive in his werewolf form, and he's, there's a point where the dog helps out. We get the friendly dog that helps out a lot of times, which I like.
It's like a callback to the beginning.
You forgot about when he was trash talking him.
Hey, you've been looking at your balls yet, Brian? Oh, wait, I forgot you don't have any.
Yeah. But Cooper ends up impaling Ryan with the sword, but because it's not steel or not silver, it isn't going to do anything. It just, sits there. But there is that cool moment where Ryan's pushing against the blade against his teeth, and you're just like, you can hear this speaking, and I'm just like, oh, that's rough. And then, of course, the dog comes in and interrupts them before Cooper gets the letter opener, and it's silver, and he hits him with it, and that's what kills him. But I also love like the little shit at the end where they try to play off the newspapers clippings. So it's like, like it's almost like it's a
You know what I like the fact that
story,
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but what I like about it is everyone knows English people love football.
Yeah.
And it's like also a callback to Joe because that was like the biggest game of his life. So to finally see that, it's like a good way to end it because it's like, hey, Joe would have been so happy to see that, but then it's also hilarious because they also put like myth and folklore at the bottom right hand corner, and it's like, werewolves ate my platoon. Turn to this page to read more. So it's like they want to
it's like the Inquirer. That's what makes it so funny. It's like it's like down the little corner. It's like, hey, werewolf ate my platoon. Like it's supposed to be a joke,
Yeah,
like,
it's like they wanted to make sure people didn't believe it.
Yeah.
One thing I thought you mentioned with the football, I thought would have been like a funny dynamic is if everyone in the squad was a big football fan except for one of them, and he was a big rugby guy.
Yeah.
Yes, rugby's massive in the UK as well. You don't have rugby in the US, do you?
But
The closest we have is American football, but I know it's not 1-to-1.
Yeah, we have like lacrosse and stuff like that. But
I think one thing we need to not look over is the amazing moment with Spoon where he's literally taken on a werewolf by himself by all means necessary. Where he's literally beating the crap. At first, he's literally kickboxing with it. He's literally splashing water, throwing plates at it. Eventually, he almost kills it with a frying pan. Only to have the other one interfere and grab him. Then we get that classic Spoon line. I hope I give you the craps.
Yes. Just overall, my opinion, one of the best werewolf films ever made.
It's definitely up there.
So, are we ready to do our rankings?
Sure thing.
I'm kind of afraid, but I mean, I'll be brave about it.
I'm sure you're not petrified.
Yes.
Well, since you've said it, Jedi, you can start.
Well, the roles of how you presented these films, I can pretty much say that they follow suit. Werewolves being the lowest, of course, and Dog Soldiers.
Make sure you give your ratings out of 10. So,
okay, well, since Werewolves is at the bottom, I'm going to give it a 2. Okay,
whoa!
I'm going to give it a 2. Sorry, it's down there. Okay,
I'm going to give it a 10. 10.
I mean, it's kind of like what Anthony said. It's a skeleton of a good film embedded in this, but they pretty much shit on it. They did that. Okay, so just give me that. Now for Howl, way better film, and I can't say that. I can say to me it's a very unique premise. Werewolves on a train, and how it's done, and maybe because it's set in Europe, maybe I think it gives a better feel. I mean, I do agree with the design of the werewolves. Well, off-putting werewolves. They're like say mutant-wise looking,
Jamaicans.
but mutant-wise.
I call them Urukai werewolves. Like out of Lord of the Rings, they look like the Urukai.
They do. Especially the guy one. He does look like that ugly-looking motherfucker.
Yeah, again, it looks like Smeagol and an orc literally bang.
No, it looks like an orc has raped fucking Gollum, and that was the trade that was given.
And he probably liked it too. Never know.
Exactly.
There's another meaning to my precious now.
But the rating I give for this one is about at least a 6.5. A 6.5 for this. Late phases, I will give this one, and like I say, it's next up, because like I say, the orders is just that what they are. One is worse, it gets better. Late phases.
Late rates.
Yeah, late rates. I would give this one I'll give this one a 8. I actually give this one an 8. I think it's like I say, it's. I was very I was very pleasantly surprised. I mean, I did get very pleasantly surprised because I'm like I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, you know. But I mean, hey, when you get suggestions like this and they actually turn out to be decent, thank God, you know, because I didn't want to waste my time. And of course, Dog Soldiers. Well, let's be honest. I mean, it's up there with American Werewolf. It's up there with The Howling. It's the first one,
not 7.
Not 7. I haven't seen 7, but I can already tell that 7 is going to be a delight for me.
It's gonna be your fucking favorite. I've got a funny feeling 7 will be
If it does,
it.
I will let you know. You know, I would say, well, the guys on this told
Just
me.
make sure you have nothing else to do. Okay, just make sure you have nothing else.
That's what I'm talking about. I got to do what I've got nothing better to do.
Walter,
There
ends
is
up being your
bait in the gravy.
Yes.
Hey, Walter, ends up being your favorite. I hope there's dirt in your gumbo later.
Okay, well, well, to round it up, Dog Soldiers, it's definitely a 9.9 for me because this film is one of those. It's like I say, I don't know why this film didn't get as much clarity as it did when it was first released, but I guess that shows like the thing.
It's a cult classic now.
Yeah, it's a cult classic. It takes time. It's like a fine wine. It takes time to really gain momentum, and well, here it is. You know, we're talking about it. It's the first one. It's the best one. So yeah.
Anthony Jordan.
Haven't seen Werewolves, but coming in at third place, Howl with a 7.5. Solid film, another one I definitely plan on getting, but it has its problems. And here's where I'm going to be controversial. Second place, Dog Soldiers.
I know.
Don't get me wrong. I love the film. Don't get me wrong. But I also compared it to Night of the Living Dead. And like the original Night of the Living Dead, there's a few places where this film just drags for me.
What, Dog Soldiers? Really?
Yeah, it drags for me in a couple places, but I'm still giving it like a high 8.9.
Do you want us to delete them, Anubis?
No, it's okay.
Yeah, Anubis almost broke.
I'm concerned for him because I know it's number 1 now. I'm just very concerned. That's all.
And number 1, Late Phases, which I did not know what to expect going into this film. What I got was the last thing I had actually expected, but it was the one where I was the most invested in the story, the most invested in the characters, and even just little things like how well the lead actor actually portrayed being blind, which is not an easy thing to do. Because like when you look, and even when he talks, he's never looking at the person he talks. He's looking away. So for those details, that's why I just have to put Late Phases above Dog Soldiers. And if Dog Soldiers is a 8.9, Late Phases is just a 9.
Well, who knows? You might, if you do get the chance to see Werewolves, you might actually put that on top of your pick.
Willie fuck.
Walter,
you're
you're in Louisiana.
Walter, are you trying to get kicked out of the stream again?
I'm just saying. I mean, you never know. I mean, when I do watch,
but you're cruising.
Yeah. When I do see Howling 7, I mean, hey, it might just be one of those, guilty pleasures.
So Kevin, can you say that? Can you say that Anthony just had his Rec 3 moment right there?
Not quite. He nailed it. No, because actually, no, I do like beans.
Yes, I know.
Big Bad Wolf.
So I will say, thinking about everything, I will have to go with Werewolves I will have to give Werewolves a 6.5 out of 10 as well, just because the story was good on paper. It was just very poorly executed. There could have been a lot of different ways they could have approached it, but never did. The werewolf design I had no issues with, besides the fact it looked like Razor from TMNT 2. Which, for those of you that don't know, Razor is the mutant wolf in TMNT 2, and it looks exactly like the werewolf design.
Mm-hmm.
And so coming in with Hal, I'll give Hal a 7 out of 10. The atmosphere was great. The story was slightly better. I like the almost claustrophobic fear that you have with him being trapped on the train in the middle of a desolate forest. That seemed like there was no way out. The characters could have been better. And again, the cover art for the werewolf was very misleading for this film.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Light Phases, I will give it an 8.5 out of 10. The story was great. The fact that they decided to have a blind person be the lead character was a very bold choice. But I think what helped it was they picked a good actor to do it. Now I'm not going to act like I have knowledge on this actor. I do not. But obviously you can tell just by how he is in the film that he knew what he was doing. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually asked for advice with someone who is blind, or with someone who's worked with blind people on what can I do to help portray a blind person that doesn't have any assistance and has to do everything by themselves without, say, a dog to help them on the way. And again, what kind of throws it off for me is the werewolf design for this film. Now, Dog Soldiers. First off, shouldn't be surprised. Dog Soldiers is a 9 out of 10 for me. Literally in my top 3 werewolf films of all time, with Howling and American Werewolf in London. The werewolf design was great. Neil Marshall. So, fun fact, Neil Marshall had ballet dancers portray the werewolves because it gave them more of that. It helped give them some elegance, which helped make the werewolves more terrifying and creepy. The design was great. As again, we see the ironic thing is I realized this a few days ago. The werewolves design is based off of Scottish and Irish folklore monsters, the Wolfens, which are pretty much creatures with human bodies but a wolf head. But the ironic thing is, Wolfens are actually friendly creatures compared to the werewolves in this film. And again, the fact that he was able to get Liam Cunningham, Kevin McKidd, and Sean Pertwee in the same film,
British actors.
It makes me wonder of what the budget was, because to get those British actors in there, that could not have been cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know, because they're still not like the biggest names in Hollywood. So despite their success, like at that time, we're talking 2002, none of them were really known names, really outside of Pertwee. Like I didn't know Cunningham at all.
But the thing is, though, this, I know it's made by a studio, but it's like the best of British. Like they were known on television for different roles they had done in sitcoms and television drama, so they were respected in the UK. And this is more or less a UK-based horror movie, which obviously has made traction and became a cult classic around the world as a really decent werewolf film. So, and Rob Marshall, like you say, Neil Marshall, the director, when he created this film, he had a certain budget, but he had complete freedom to make it his vision.
Well,
and
I'm sorry, Kevin. Just want to tell you, the budget on this thing was like £3 million, which is roughly $4 million in the United States. So he was working with a very low budget, but he gave you some incredible,
If you think about, if you look at, like, say, for example, Gareth Edwards, who was another well-known British, filmmaker who worked and did. Before he did films, he was making television adverts in the UK.
Okay.
And then when he decided, guess what, I'm going to make my first movie, he created Monsters. The first gig he got after Monsters, guess what? Godzilla 2014.
Oh, Godzilla. I'm sorry.
So at the end of the day, it just really depends on the time, the place. Sometimes it's time and, being in the right time at the right place. Sometimes if a studio executive says, oh, well, this guy can make an amazing movie on a medium budget and make how much money, we're going to give him a shot at a bigger film with a bigger budget. And if you look at most of the directors who directed the Monsterverse films, they're pretty much unknown directors. And look at the budget they're getting and the movies they're making.
It's like, just give them a chance. You never know. I mean, they might able to give out shit out of Jim if they can.
I generally feel some like these younger directors, they're given these budgets. Yes, they'll make a movie their way, but I think they do succumb to studio
interference.
Where Neil Marshall was always against it.
So add more to that. I mean, Neil Marshall really found a way to make 4 million work, and We Got was probably one of the best werewolf films ever made. That that it's literally inspired. It literally changed the paradigm how you can do, because what we know about the norm with werewolves is massive or bulky, hairy beasts that look like with wolf-like traits. Was this? He made them incredibly tall and lanky, which made them look, even though they were pretty. How do I say this without saying the word bad? You know what? I would say he made them very beast. They're like very amazing with how they reacted. I mean, one thing that was also funny was how intelligent they were. Like, even though they were in wolf form, one was able to grab a shotgun and use it as if they were a human. And I mean, the Dog Soldiers would inspire me to make my werewolf design for a novel I plan to do. Because I realized he did something that worked, and that was what he gave them still human-like skin, but super lanky, gave them a more grotesque look. And that's something I'm trying to incorporate into my design while doing something different.
But see, that design kind of works, though. That's yeah.
I have to say, I think out of all the designs you've created, I would say this one, and I think this one's the best.
Well, thank you. It's all the same design, but I definitely like that image the best, just because
I agree with Kevin.
It helps it pop out more.
The thing with this one, it doesn't look as fierce when it's on all fours.
Do you think maybe because it's mostly shirtless? Maybe, I mean, shirtless. It's mostly hairless.
Hairless.
It pretty much looks like a manged wolf.
Yeah.
So it looks better standing up.
Yeah, my idea was I felt like lanky arms and scythe-like claws could help it look creepy and terrifying.
Yeah, I think it looks better like that, but I look forward to whatever you create, my friend.
Yeah, I'm on the verge of writing it. All I've done so far is the prologue, in which I'm not sure, which I know Anthony and Anubis have read it, and I've got their critiques on it.
Okay, well, they're onto something good there, I will say that. So finally, I think, yes, you three have done your
Yep, now we got Anubis.
So Anubis, let's go.
In last place, werewolves, obviously. There are some things about the plot that I thought would have been cool. We talked about like the face paint and stuff like that. I mean, most of the suit looks great. It's just those faces. It's too hard to take them seriously as threats. But overall, like, I was just kind of waiting for this movie to end because it was just driving me insane. So it gets a 4 out of 10 for me. Next up is Howl. Again, great setup, great idea. I think we talked about how this would be a cool sequel to Dog Soldiers. I think it would have worked so much better with that in mind. The acting's not horrible at all. it is kind of fun in that way. But again, I just struggle so much with the looks of the werewolves. It's so bad, so bad. So
I
5 out
can't.
of 10 for
I
me with that.
can't. Oh,
Go ahead.
I was going to say like you say, like the design was terrible, and I do agree with you. I was just trying to say I can at least appreciate that they were trying to do something different. It looked better on paper than it did with the execution.
Well, it's always hard to understand like what a director envisions. So let's just take you for instance. You're an author. You're writing your story. You have a look of your werewolf that you want it to be. I'm not as crazy about your look of your werewolf. However, I'm not here doing the story. You are. So whatever you envision for your story is what you want. I don't know if the directors of some of these films go in saying like, I want mine to look like The Howling, but they can't do it because they don't either have the special effects, the budget, or
The control.
right. So then they might have to rely on CGI. So with How, it sort of sounds like they had to rely on CGI. It doesn't look like they had a plan.
Also with movies, it depends. Like when you, especially like werewolf films, if you make your werewolf look too much like the werewolf in The Howling, you could be done for copyright or plagiarism. It looks like you're copying their design. So
I don't know if that's really a case because
Look at Bad Moon.
well, yeah, I see. I don't think people make too much of an issue with that. I mean, I suppose that, let's say Rick Baker, or who was the guy that Blotto that did it for Howling?
Yeah, Rob Bottin.
Rob Bottin.
Bottin. So let's say they have like a protege that is taking something they did from The Howling and make it into a werewolf film. Well, Bottin would be like, he could say to himself, hey, dude, I know I trained you and I taught you, but this is too much like my Howling look. You're going to have to adjust this. Now, he could do that, but then again, he might just say, oh, no, this is cool. This is a cool tribute to what I did with The Howling. I've never seen a case where someone's like really complained about special effects design, other than it feels like so blatant that it was like ridiculous, right? But either way, the idea is that with How it looks like, even if they went with like a different idea, it just doesn't really resonate with me. But the story's great. I like the story. I like what they try to do with it. But at the end of the day, I'm just very picky about the werewolves that I like in my films, and so it only gets like a 5 out of 10 for me with that.
That makes
Now,
sense.
with late phases, this one would have been much lower initially until I rewatched it. Again, the werewolves aren't horrible. Again, we just have issues with the faces a little bit. The suits look okay. There is a kind of cool thing where they're running on 4, so they're doing a bit of both bipedal type stuff going on. Story's amazing. It actually hits you harder now, but I have some issues with the ending because while I like the fact that the dad died just on his own terms, I'm like, you got fucking bit. Those women turned very fast after being bit. So I'm wondering why he didn't turn. So there's a little bit of a question mark there for me with that. I expected him, because I'd forgotten how I'd seen it before. I expected him to kind of eat a bullet, but I couldn't remember if that's what happened or not. So I do like the ending, though. I do like the story. It's a very good story. I like the dog, all that stuff. So what normally probably would have been like a 4 out of 10, this is now a 7 out of 10 with this film. And of course, we lead us to Dog Soldiers, which is number 3 on my all-time werewolves list. It's 10 out of 10. It's not lower than that for me. It's too much fun. Great looks, great fun, great cast. Yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
So my order is the order that we've done the conversations in. So of course, The Purge 7 werewolves. That gets a 4 out of 10. Such a disappointment, so much potential. It was not the way I wanted the film to go. So, and the fucking werewolves went right. Werewolves or hyenas, so they can fuck right off. How still enjoy it. Agreed with how what you're talking about with the design of the werewolves, the more like people that are still like in the evolution stage into werewolves in my mind. That's how I kind of look at it. The story's quite sad because no one gets out alive, which I quite enjoyed.
But didn't the blonde chick at the end get away?
Yeah, she got
Oh
away.
yeah, she
That's what
she
they
get,
yeah, there's somebody.
oh yeah, she gets away. 'cause
That's
she's got
basically
his-
the guy sacrificed himself so that she can
Yeah.
run away or whatever.
She's got his name badge in her hand when she
Yeah.
walks onto the platform. I forgot about that, but I still enjoy it. For me, it's a 7 out of 10. Late Phases is number 2. Always gonna love this movie. It's just something about it appeals to me. It's up there with Silver Bullet for me. I'm gonna give that a 8 out of 10, and 10s across the board for Dog Soldiers. Nothing's gonna beat it. It's just a true British culture, legendary film for me. It really is. It's right up there with, like, say, Get Carter for me. It's
The
something
original.
yes, I could just watch it over and over again. There's just something I just love. I love everything from the beginning to the end. I love where it's set. I love the actors. I love the characters. I like the werewolf design. Obviously, watching it later on from 2002 to 2025, the suits and that, you can tell us, the effects aren't holding up as well as I thought they were, but I still appreciate it. Like, but it's the bloody gore scenes do not disappoint. Like this, yes, more of this in the werewolf movies, please.
And
Well,
I
there's
told you.
something.
More this. Just
There's
more.
something else too. There was like a very undermined detail that's also overlooked. There was a scene when the soldiers get in. One of them gets a bowl, whatever stew the family was making. The one's like, "You can't just help yourself," and he's like, "I'm bloody starving." Later on, the guy goes, "This is pork," which is funny because somehow, don't know how, but apparently it's been proven scientifically that pork is the closest to what human meat would be.
Okay, how would they know that?
I don't know.
Just stuck a fork in their ass. I don't know.
Okay, well, besides that, a little side note. I think I shared this on someone else's stream, but you do know some of the dead bodies or the makeup, some of them, that's what reused corpses they use from Event Horizon.
Yep. Yep.
Really
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I read that a while back. Mhm.
interesting.
So just a little side note.
Well, gentlemen, this has been another fun one. This is the one I've probably been looking forward to the most, talking about Dog Soldiers and Late Phases. And I'm not even going to mention the first one we talked about.
Yeah.
I'm just so glad you did Dog Soldiers on a Saturday because that was one I'm like, I hope he schedules Dog Soldiers for a Saturday because I really want to do that one.
So before we wrap up, let's talk about the final part of Fear the Wolf, the month of werewolves. Me and my good friend DJ Anubis are going to be tackling this on the 29th.
Ginger snaps.
That's right, Ginger Snaps. The trilogy, if any of you guys are available on that date, the 3 movies are available on Tubi, I believe.
Yep.
So you could always watch them if you want. And will you fuck off? I love your tits, but get off the screen.
Yeah.
And I will say this, like the entire trilogy is actually very good. It's very good.
It's not that bad.
I'm going to be honest. The way the second one ended.
Well, I mean, that one has I'm not saying they're better than the first one. I'm just saying they're good. Like when we talk about that compared to the Howling franchise, it's way better.
I'm going to tell you why I'm frustrated when we do a stream. But it's a good frustration.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you wait, it won't be live. We will be doing a recording that day, and I will release it later that night. Or I potentially may keep it for Halloween and do a time premiere, just for some people to pop off on Halloween.
Yeah.
I'm also going to be doing my top 10 werewolf movies.
I thought you had done that.
Earlier, me and Anubis did a top 5, but now that I've watched more werewolf films than I've ever seen them,
Now he's caught up. On
He's gotten very indulgent into the wolf world.
Now he's like, you've seen top 3, you've seen top 5, but have you seen top 10?
Mhm.
There you go.
Top 10 titties. I mean,
Hopefully, Devour comes out near the end of this month.
I've seen some of this behind the scenes with that wolf. It looks good.
Yeah, I just need to know what streaming service it's coming out on, because I want to see this day one as soon as I can.
But I still want to see that Wolf Moon Rising. Did you ever get a chance to check out that trailer, Kevin?
Wolf Moon Rising.
I didn't know what the fuck I was watching.
Wolf Moon. You said Wolf Moon Rising?
Basically,
You're gonna have a hard time finding it, but it's a werewolves in space. It looks good.
Oh, that? What? Oh, come on now. Okay.
Wait, what about that found footage one that's supposed to be coming out this year too?
What was the one you just talked about before the
Devour.
werewolf film?
But that's also with vampires. So there's a vampires and werewolves in that.
Oh well, I've got to watch that.
And I'll tell you this, Kevin, the werewolves are a mix between the Howling and Dark Soldiers werewolves.
Ooh.
In appearance, I should say, in appearance.
Well, Anubis, when that comes out, if we'll all watch it, we'll all need to do a live review on that.
We will do a watch party, and this time it will be a watch party.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Ulvin. Of Ulvin, whatever the fuck.
Well, Ulvin better not talk during that shit because I will put a fucking trap on his mouth.
No, I was talking about when I actually jumped in thinking it was a watch party.
Oh God. Yeah, well, you were half naked. That helped a lot.
Hey, I at least had pants on.
Thank fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Don't tip me.
I've been banned from YouTube at that point.
Don't tip me, Anubis. I will come on there naked on purpose one day.
Hey, why don't we do that all together? You know, one day come on the stream and just be butt ass naked in our birthday suits, and
you guys can have fun with that by yourselves.
Oh no! But Anthony, you could actually do that and just put on your Jason mask. That would be funny.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, what's more terrifying than Jason? Jason naked.
It's true.
Oh, God.
I'll give you what's more terrifying than Jason.
DJ Anubis, what's coming up on the Metal Tavern Radio?
Well, so we're going to be doing a Nightmare on Elm Street on Silver Screen Savants tonight on Elvin's channel with Neko, and I believe Anthony's there as well. We're pushing it another hour, so it'll be at 9 p.m. our time, Anthony, because we're running late here. But that's still going to get done. Tomorrow, Neko and I are doing the next rated R for rom-com. She's forced me to watch Crazy Stupid Love, so I'm going to be giving my thoughts on that film as well as her. And then for my Ghouls pick this coming week, I've chosen Terrifier 3. We're choosing that to review. But since after that, I haven't really thought too much ahead of that, so I have to fill in the blanks.
One must love you for that choice.
Yeah, when I told him, he was shaking his head like, fuck me.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yes. And, of course, Mr. Jedi Granville, what is coming to your Jedi Granville Productions?
Okay, well, first off, the rest of this month, I don't have anything, but I will be joining with a good friend of mine, Artistic Lizards, and we're going to be discussing the 1990 film, The Mummy. We're going to do a review with, and just as a side note, I don't know if a certain party is going to be joining us, but if he does, so be it. But that's beside the point. But on my channel, my personal channel, I will be doing in a week, like say, I think 2 weeks from now, I will be doing the 40th anniversary retrospective of To Live and Die in LA. And I think Nubis, you probably will be joining me for that.
Yes.
Hopefully for that. Yes.
Yep.
It's going to be set on a Sunday because I say if I really want to get this out there, I want some people to really interact and talk about it because this
Yeah.
film is one of those underrated films. I don't think it gets enough juice as it does.
Very
And-
underrated.
Yes, and also this is something that was inspired by Mr. Gingerman. I'm going to be, yes, believe it or not, I am going to do my favorite movie explosions part 2 because the first one I enjoyed so much. You had said like you ought to do another one. It's like I don't know, and then I thought to myself, why not? Because I love explosions. So you will be seeing that in the coming month. So
Oh, you love exploding, do you?
I love exploding. Yes, more ways than one.
Oh Lord.
But but no, I just thought you said my top 10 explosions in film. I thought, well, there's got to be more than top 10.
Yes,
So you've got to do another one.
I'm going to do another one. Yes.
Yeah. Big Bad Wolf, I know you've got your gaming channel. What's coming up on that one?
So unfortunately, I have no content coming out next week, but hopefully, if we can all make it, I should be gaming with Anubis, Alzilla on Thursday, where we'll be doing more of the co-op horror game Deathground, which is pretty much Alien Isolation Outlast with dinosaurs, in which I'll record that and hopefully get that ready for not this Tuesday, but the next Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, as we mentioned, that novel I'm planning on writing. I plan to try to, once I get out that writer's block, find a way to get that written, because I have a very good idea for the premise now, which I have discussed with DJ Anubis and Anthony.
Nice. So, my good friend Anthony Jordan, what is coming up on your channel?
Well, for the last 6 days of this month for my channel's Montober event, I actually have a video set to premiere every day. But 2 in particular I want to talk about because I'm starting to get more into storytelling. One is like a hypothetical. If I were to be given the reins and remake Halloween 1 and 2, what would I do? How would I do it differently? And just to tease, Laurie Strode gets killed off partway through this, and we're going to have a new main character. I wanted to do some things to shake up the story while still staying relatively true to what the first 2 were. And my other one, the day before Halloween, my original story, The Wolf Stalks Grizzly Country, premieres, which is a story about 3 friends that go camping deep woods grizzly country, and they have an encounter with a werewolf and only one survives.
See, that look, when I seen the title and the picture you create, it immediately grabbed my attention. So I'm very much looking forward to that, and good luck with that one.
What picture? Wait, what picture?
It's the same one that's that picture there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this profile pic.
His avatar picture, yeah.
Ah,
But
okay.
yeah, good luck with that, Anthony. Hopefully, I hope it does well for you. And I think it's really interesting that we've got 2 people here that are coming up with, that are you know being very creative, are really working on pushing a great, hopefully werewolf story out there for everyone to enjoy.
That video, it took me like between recording, editing, and the sound effects. That was like a project that took over a week to complete.
What did you have to edit? Do you have like pictures in there to help depict each scene?
I have one static image that plays over the story, and I recorded it in segments, so I just had to paste them in, but I wanted to enhance the production quality a little, so I added sound effects. Like, I know with what you've studied, you're familiar with the phenomenon in the woods known as the silence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have a point where the character experiences that, so I have a sound effect of just ambient wood forest sound effects. And when he encounters the silence, I actually cut the soundtrack and pick it back up when it starts up again.
Right. So just a quick thing for me. So like I say, me and DJ Anubis on the 29th will be doing Ginger Snaps to finish off Fear the Wolf, the month of werewolves. And then we will get back to regular programming on the 2nd of November, which is a Sunday at 10 p.m. We're going to be covering this one.
Oh yeah,
This will be a fun one.
this will be a fun one.
So that's all I've got planned for now. I do have my schedules ready for the rest of the month in December, but we'll talk more about that closer at the time. But as for tonight, thank you, gentlemen, as always, for joining me. It's been a blast. It's nice to see different people's opinions on these classic films, or good or bad or indifferent. It's nice that we all had an opinion. But as always, keep looking up at the sky, keep looking at the full moon, and watch what's behind you. Take care, everybody.